Hello, 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 everybody from Fort Worth, Dallas, and beyond. I am D. Bowie Richardson, Artistic Director here at the Jubilee Theatre, as my phone goes off, located here in Fort Worth, Texas, 506 Main Street. We are going into our now 43rd season. That's right, Jubilee Theatre, the second oldest African American led theater in Texas, the oldest in North Texas, now 43 years old, getting ready to bring in our new season. The theme, the mantra of our season this year is reflections, a deeper look within. The point of that is not only we've been through a lot these last few years. It is a great opportunity for us to kind of look within. I think all of us have been doing that these last few years, looking within, and in the midst of that look, what do we see differently, and what's another direction we want to go? So as we celebrate a deeper look within, reflections, what better way to do so than by bringing in someone we've Jubilee Theatre, not myself, but Jubilee Theatre has had the honor to be able to have worked with before, and we're excited to be working with him today. So I would like to bring to the table Mr. Eugene Lee. The year was 1991. When Jubilee Theatre and Eugene Lee produced East Texas Hot Links.
Okay.
But before all of that, he's not just Mr. Eugene Lee, but he's an actor, he's a writer, he's a director, he's an educator, and he is so much of what I believe as the artistic director of Jubilee Theatre, we aim to be able to create even more of. How do we go about, bringing more artists to the table, creating a space for their work to grow, and for them as artists to thrive and go even beyond our doors. So welcome, Mr. Eugene Lee.
Oh, thank you, man. It's my pleasure to be here. Yeah.
I'm glad to have you. I'm glad, as I humbly refer to you as one of the OGs of Jubilee Theatre. It is a blessing to be able to have brought your work back to our organization. And I would love to just talk with you more as we talk about a deeper look within about your work. Just a few questions, but looking forward to talking with you even more. So now going into our 43rd season, Jubilee's mantra is reflections, a deeper look within. What better way to celebrate reflections than by bringing back a work by a playwright that Jubilee Theatre has produced and had the opportunity to see their work? Can you tell us about the premiere of East Texas Hot Links at Jubilee Theatre and how it potentially helped move the production to other stages across America?
Yeah, that's a part of my history with Jubilee. I mean, I'd worked at Jubilee as an actor, if you know what I mean. I'd done a number of plays there working with Rudy when they were over behind that church over off of Victory Boulevard, and even on Rosedale when they had the little spot there. And I had written this play, and I sent it to Rudy, and they produced it. This was my second play that they actually produced. My first play they produced was a play called Killingsworth, my very first play. It gave me an opportunity to see it up on its feet, and then I did produce the premiere of it out in Los Angeles right after that, I guess, or it was around the same time. I can't remember exactly what that sequence was, but Jubilee became a place for my early plays where I could send them to Rudy and he would do them, and that was a marvelous resource to have as a playwright, to have some place where I could go and see my stuff and see what it was I put on the page and what the potential of it was, and for others to see the potential of it as well. And that kind of opened up some doors where it's produced somewhere in Texas, all the time. It's going to be done in Chicago, I think, next season. It's a play that has a lasting kind of resonance, if you know what I mean.
I love that. And we mentioned the name, and for all of those persons out there who may not know, Jubilee Theatre, our founding artistic director, it was the illustrious Rudy Eastman. He and his wife co-founded this theater together. We started as a gypsy theater, traveling from place to place until we got our footing on Rosedale Street, which is right up the street from us, until we outgrew that space. and bless the Lord, we ended up moving to 506 Main Street, which is where our current address is located, right here in Sundance Square of downtown Fort Worth. And as we're working on growing and busting out of that space as well. But speaking of Mr. Eastman, and that ability for you to have shared your work with him and him being able to take your work and put it on stage, how important is it for artists of color to be able, artists in general, to be able to have access to individuals, to be able for their work to move on to the next space, to the next stage of development?
It's vital. It's crucial. And I can speak to how it was helpful to me with my my very first play, Killingsworth, that I sent it to Rudy, and he did it, and I came and I saw it, and it was somewhat autobiographical, but they did the production over on Rosedale Street. I'll never forget this. And my grandmother got to see it. It was really good. And then 10 or 11 years later, Rudy called me up. He said, "What's happening with that play?" I said, "Oh man, I got to where I didn't like it, if you know what I mean." I was like, "Oh man, it's around here somewhere." He said, "Why don't you take it out again?" I said, "For what?" He said, "Because I want to do it again." He said, "Look at it." So I did. And when I took it out and looked at it, I picked up a pencil and I started editing. I started doing some stuff. And I did a new draft and sent it to him. And he mounted that one, which is now what I think is the definitive sort of production of the play. But someplace where I had that opportunity, and somebody like, it's kind of like August Wilson had Lloyd Richards, who sort of mentored him and showed him, pointed him, and he said, "No, wait, you got something here." And even though it was 10 years later, he said, "Look at that play again." And that was really important to have that kind of relationship as an artist, a place where I could go, and a place where I trusted, that felt safe, if you know what I mean. In that respect, and with people that I trusted, who would bring what the play needed in that respect. I've been blessed. The lion's share of my theater work has been with Black theater companies. I started off, I was with Crossroads Theater Company in New Jersey when they first started, when they were a Cedar program. Well, I guess even before that, I was Jubilee in Fort Worth. I worked at Inner City Cultural Center in Los Angeles, and then on the East Coast, Crossroads, and then the Negro Ensemble Company. So the lion's share of my theater work has been for, by, and about Black people. But there's a part of that sometimes gets left off, because that was a movement at one point. This play is for, by, and about Black people, but it needs to also be near. And that's what Jubilee does with the theater that's for, by, and about people. It makes it available to them, if you know that. And
exactly, sir. And with that, given that, where we are here in Fort Worth, yes, our work is for us, by us, and all about us, but it's also that great opportunity for our stories to be seen by others outside of the community, so that they can see us as more than just the color of our skin, but see the pain, see the history, see the story, see the tears, and for them to see themselves in us as well. And I think that's what I love so much about your show, East Texas Hot Links. This show could have been done in so many other ways, but for to make this story about us and how we're interpreting this outside force, and how each of the individuals in this story are dealing with this outside force of racism, of oppression, of quote, the man dictating certain aspects of life, how we all approach it, I found, beautifully unique. One of the great things, as we're about to get ready to dig deep into East Texas Hot Links, in a moment, we have some of the cast of East Texas Hot Links. They'll be popping in just to say hello, introduce themselves. So that way you get a chance to see them before you come up for opening night and see them all over again. So Ms. Janae, whenever you're ready, feel free to let the cast come on in. All right. Coming live from 506 Main Street, Jubilee Theatre presents East Texas Hot Links. If you all can hear, if anybody wants to come close and introduce themselves, please feel free. I don't know what we'll all hear from your distance.
I'll go first then. Hey, Mr. Eugene. I'm Roche Moore.
Hey, Roche, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm the assistant director. Good to see you. Thanks for letting us do the play.
Always my pleasure. It's good to be seen and not viewed, you know.
Hello, I'm Cherie Williams. I'm playing Charlesetta.
Oh, hey, Charlesetta, how you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
Hi, Eugene. I'm Bill Hess. I'm playing Adolf.
Oh, the old man, the old blind fool. Nice
one of the great things about having Mr. Haas is that he too is an OG of Jubilee Theatre, and we as we think about a deeper look and reflections, it's such a blessing to have somebody who 10, 15, 20 years ago was on Jubilee stage, coming back home again to help retell these stories and help move the dial even further. So thank you so much, and we're glad to have two OGs on this project.
That's rich, man. What you bring and call is what August called the blood history.
Yes, come on. I like that better than the OG. Come on, blood history. Yes, sir.
That truly is. Welcome, Bill. Yeah, have fun with that man. He's wordsmith is one word for him. But like I think I mentioned this to somebody earlier. Those arias that are in this play, sing them, and that's they are heightened. They are that heightened kind of language that I always see our characters as bigger than life. And that's a bigger part of being Texas, like, they say everything. But they're bigger in life with love, but they're also bigger in life with hate, and those other things. It's just as big and almost classical in a sense, because I think that kind of erect character gets a different kind of respect, if you know what I mean.
I love it. Who else do we have with the cast that they can go ahead and introduce themselves as well?
Hello, my name is Dameron Grove.
Say it again, please.
I'm sorry, my name is Dameron Grove. I'm playing the infamous Buckshot.
That's great. Nice to meet you, man. Yeah. I won't interrupt the introductions anymore. I can start running my damn mouth.
We love
it. Hi, Mr. Eugene. My name is Orlando Valentino, and I'm playing as XL Dancer.
I love it. I love it. Pleased to meet you, man.
I'll go next. Hi, my name is Preston Busby, and I'm playing Delmas.
Okay. Delmas Green, too ripe for picking.
Hey, Mr. Eugene. My name is Bradley Atuba. I'm playing Roy Moore.
All right. Chase a piece of pussy in the hell.
Yeah. You know your lines. You know your lines. And of course, we have where's the director of the show?
He was just in front of the camera, wasn't he?
Has he introduced himself as well?
J.R. Bradford playing the role of Bucci Reed.
Come on,
Mr. Bucci. All right, Mr. Bucci.
Hi, my name is Raven Harris, and I'm playing the role of stage manager.
Hey, one of the most important roles in a play. I'm telling you, I appreciate your contributions. Yeah, I know they do too.
Hi, my name is Seth King, and I am production assistant.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to meet you, Seth King.
Yeah. And Mr. Seth King is one of our student ambassadors. So one of the things, picking up from the spirit of Mr. Rudy Eastman and the rich history of Jubilee Theatre, what we've started to do is branch out in development of what our education program looks like. So he is actually our second cohort student that will be following us throughout the season, joining on shows, so that way he's getting a full wraparound service about what theater is and where he wants to fall in the world of theater. It be it on stage, off stage, writer, director. We want to make sure that as we're moving works forward, how are we also helping to develop the next generation to fulfill those roles?
That's great. That's rich. Yeah. Yeah. There he is.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too.
And introduce yourself for all of the people out there in TV land, sir.
Who, me?
I'm Charles
Oh,
Jackson, and I'm the director of East Texas Hot Links.
So I know that it is a Monday, but because we did some casting work, they are rehearsing right now. So we just wanted to give you a quick snippet of who's in the show for you, Mr. Eugene Lee, as well as the community to come on out and watch the show. But if you all need to get back to rehearsal, Charles, you will go ahead and do that. And me and Mr. Eugene Lee, we're gonna keep on chatting.
Sounds good. Thank you again.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing y'all shortly.
Sounds good. Yes.
Real quick, before the act, oh, God dang it, they already gone. I was about to get, perfect. Before the actors depart, because we're going to be talking about what do we want the audience to walk away with. But as the playwright who has that unique opportunity to talk to not only the actors, but who the characters are, what are those things? What's that one piece of advice you'd like to give these actors about approaching these flesh and blood human beings to make them come alive on stage?
I only try to achieve two basic goals with whatever I'm doing, whether it's acting, writing, directing, being a daddy, being a husband, being an uncle, being a friend. I seek truth and clarity. If I can do that, I've done a whole lot. If I can tell the truth and be clear about it, then everybody's going to take something from me that they didn't bring to that encounter. You make that, and a lot of what they take in this play, and a blind woman in Fort Worth who saw this play, I'll never forget it. One of the highest compliments that I have ever received from anyone. One was blind, and she saw the play. Well, I say saw the play, but she experienced the play 3 times. She said, because Eugene, there's not a lie in your play. Now, that's the best compliment that you can give me. And that's the best thing that you can bring to these characters is truth and honesty, and not try to put anything on top of what you think they are, but let it do what it do, if that makes sense to you. They are your cousin. They are your uncle. They eat the same food that your people ate. They dance to the same music. And that's the other thing that people are going to leave. They're going to leave this play seeing themselves celebrated, if that makes sense to you. The good and the bad, celebrated. But there's a victory in the end. And despite what it looks like, the victory may seem subtle, but, big boats turn slow. And I was saying to some people today that people are like, well, everybody dies. I'm like, no. The future, Delmas, and the past, Adolf, they got away. And that's important in terms of this play, because it speaks to that sacrifice that a lot of people made, that those 4 little girls in that church made. You know what I'm saying? It's this speaks to the truth about a time, and it speaks it clearly. And I think that's what's important, and I think that's what strikes home with people, because they know Roy Moore, they know Buckshot, they got a Buckshot in their family. Even white people, they recognize their place in this when they see it too. I'm telling you, I've seen white people, I've seen them change their mind about stuff, because it's kind of like, oh, I didn't know. And that's what they take away from a play like this as well. They end up having a I didn't know moment. And that's when what we do has what I call healing power. That can fix some shit, because that's how we assassinate hate. We replace it with better information, with the truth, because it's often based on fear and a lie. And we can replace that with the truth. Then that's how we assassinate that shit. And we do our bit as artists. We do when we do stuff like this. When we put the truth at their feet, and make it so palpable that they see themselves in it. That's the other thing. They see the common denominator, and that they cannot deny the human condition. I'll shut up.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You better preach, so you better preach. For those persons that are just joining us, welcome to the House of Jubilee. We are Jubilee Theatre, located right here in Fort Worth, Texas, 506 Main Street. And today we are discussing East Texas Hot Links, coming to the stage September 29th to October 29th. Please go to jubileetheater.org for more information and tickets. At this time, we're going to release the cast.
Hello, one boy. We got one of our actors just came in.
Oh, my one that didn't come on time. Let's go ahead and get him. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Wait, let me give one note that I hadn't given in a long time. I just thought of it. The title of the play. What it is. It's links in the food chain. You probably already know that, Charles. You figured that shit out. But that the play is about how we feed off of each other. The food chain. Anyway, I'm sorry. Who's late? Where that motherfucker at?
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Come on to the table.
Don't be scared.
Hello, my name is Stephon Green. I'm playing Columbus.
Hey,
Come on, Columbus.
he
got a preach in his throat.
He
get up on that sermon and make you hear something.
That's Columbus's play, man. That's all I'll say. It's his play. He undergoes the greatest change of any of these characters in this play. He talks the whole play about being a peaceful man. But at the end of the play, he's cocking a shotgun, getting ready to go kill man. They cut that man's throat in the film.
Indeed. So we're going to keep on talking. But cast, you all get on back to rehearsal. And we look forward to seeing you all for previews starting September 29th and opening October 6th, closing October 29th. JubileeTheater.org for East Texas Hot Links. Cast, thank you all. So, Mr. Lee, as we talk about, as a playwright, you've gone on to write, we talked about Killingsworth, but you've also written Fear Itself, Twist, Stones in My Pass Away, and a few other works. Is it important, and if so, why, that we have more African American writers tell our stories, especially in a time where everybody's so cancel culture itch? How important is it that we take ownership of telling our stories instead of allowing others to tell those stories for us?
Thank God we have Black writers to tell our story, because Black writers have the authority and they bring authenticity that anybody else can't bring to it, if you know what I mean. In terms of the African American experience, they can write about it, but they can't write of it. It's important that we get the opportunities to have our shows produced, to have places like Jubilee, where we can go and work on our craft and work on our storytelling and opportunities to share our storytelling and grow as artists. And just like it created opportunities for my plays, it can create those same opportunities for other people's plays. We do need Black writers to write. Otherwise, they're going to keep doing things like Black versions of Death of a Salesman.
Yeah, come on.
And as a Black playwright, I ain't got nothing against that, except I say, why not do a play by, for, and about you, if you know what I mean? But that's a whole nother. But we do need Black playwrights to tell our story.
Come on. As we're looking at the political landscape of the world, and the cancel culture of things, and the sensitivities that we encounter in today's ever-changing world, does it cause you as a playwright to review any of your works in a different light to potentially alter or change or evolve to match the sentiments of today's? I know the answer to this question, but just does it make you feel like you need to change your story or our story to fit the narrative of today?
I'm not changing. I mean, I cuss, right? I ain't changing shit. And I hear people taking plays like mine and like August's play and taking the N word out and replacing it, And I'm like, first of all, that's illegal. If it bothers you that much, don't do the play at all. But don't be rewriting a person's play. And all that language, especially in plays in August's plays and in mine, because most of mine take place in the 50s and in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, because it's a time that I think I have an objective perspective on now that's not tainted by having been sitting in the middle of it. Now I can see the truth, and I can write 360 degrees around it from here. At that time, I was sitting in the middle of it. But it's I don't want to change the context of that. Otherwise, that's promoting a lie. So no, I'm not going back to change anything. Not for that. Not because of any cultural or cancel culture stuff. But I do have one play that I'm gonna go back and look at.
Yeah.
But that's only because it was written for a specific venue, a museum. And once the rights, once they're not going to do it anymore, and that exhibit is gone from that museum, and it comes back to me, then I'm going to take it and retool it and make it for a wider audience, if you know what I mean. For something. So, but that kind of thing, but nothing because of cancel culture. It's like that's what I love about being a playwright. I can do what I want to, and I can produce it myself, in my backyard if I want to. So yeah, not for me. I ain't changing nothing. I'm gonna tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it with as much depth and clarity as I can.
Because the truth don't need to be filtered.
And it's forever. I mean, I look at this play. I wrote this play 30 years ago or something like that. And it still resonates because it's still the truth. I acted in a play called A Soldier's Play back 40 years ago. And I just did a national tour of that play, and the truth that's in that play still resonates today. And it's about something that happened 40 years before that. So the truth is forever. That I say that all the time. And yeah, this play gives it with clarity.
I love it. So, sir, as we get ready to close out of this session, I ask of you this simple question. As the playwright, as an artist, as a member of the House of Jubilee, as an OG, or as they say now, a member of the blood history of Jubilee Theatre, why should our community, or the DFW community as a whole, come out to support Eugene Lee's East Texas Hot Links?
I've talked about it, before tonight. It's come out and see yourself celebrated, and come out and see yourself celebrated, and bring somebody with you who doesn't know, if you know what I mean. Spread I don't know another way to say it. You're gonna leave.
Hit it on the nose. Yes, sir.
You're gonna leave this play with something that you don't come to this play with. And there may be a song on your lips. It'll be the blues, but this play. This is what this play does, and someone described it as a New York review called it it's where August Wilson meets Sam Peckinpah. That was what one review said, but another review said that this play takes you and it tickles you, it kisses you, it grabs you and snatches you out of your seats and slaps you around and then throws you back into your seat and says, "Now go home and think about that." And I've had people call me a year, 2 years after having seen the play and say, "Man, I woke up this morning thinking about that damn play." And I go, "Yeah, gotcha." How little seeds get planted. with what we do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to close out for the night, please go to jubileetheater.org and purchase your ticket today for Eugene Lee's East Texas Hot Links. Tickets are on sale now. You are witnessing the beginning of the Jubilee Theatre House of Jubilee podcast, where throughout the season, we're going to be exploring reflections, a deeper look within as we approach each of our shows, bringing in unique perspectives, unique voices, and moving the narrative further and continuing the conversation about the great work that is right here in Fort Worth. The great actors, the great writers, the great directors, the great storytellers, the grills, right here in our own backyard. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a way to subscribe, make sure you, if not, go to our Jubilee Theater webpage, or you can check us out on YouTube, where you'll be able to see this again, but also be able to find out when our next episode will be coming. Following this show, we'll be doing a Black Gospel Nativity, Bread and Gravy, telling the story of Ethel Waters, The Bubbly Black Girl Sheds Her Chameleon Skin, Thoughts of a Colored Man, and closing out the season with Sister Act. So clearly, as you can see, there's a lot of great things happening right here in Fort Worth, and a lot of phenomenal things happening here at Jubilee Theater. So do not miss the boat. Don't miss the bus. Get your ticket, get your Flex Pass, and come on out and celebrate with us here at Jubilee Theater. For more information, jubileetheater.org. Thank you so much, Mr. Eugene Lee. Can we give a special applause for Mr. Eugene Lee?
Man, thank you. Yeah, I'll see you in a little while.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to seeing you. See you in a few days.
All right.
Have a great one.
You too.